Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier, two names etched into the bloody, glorious history of the UFC, now collide one final time at UFC 318 in what promises to be an unforgettable war for the BMF belt and a defining moment in both fighters' careers, especially as Dustin the Diamond Poirier walks into the Octagon for what is expected to be the final time in his long, decorated, and absolutely electric journey through the fight game, and there could not be a more fitting venue than the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana, his home state, his roots, his battlefield. And standing in his way is none other than Max Blessed Holloway, a former featherweight champion, a man who redefined volume striking, pressure fighting, and championship grit, and who now puts everything on the line, including his recently captured BMF title against a man who has beaten him not once, but twice before. First in 2012 when they were young lions, and then again in 2019 in a brutal war that earned Poirier the interim lightweight crown. But this time, Holloway comes in with nothing to lose and everything to prove, fresh off his thunderous highlight reel knockout of Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, one of the most vicious, poetic, and career-defining finishes in UFC history, a knockout that sent shockwaves through the lightweight division and reignited Holloway's legacy as one of the baddest men to ever do it. And now, after falling short against Ilia Topuria at UFC 308 in his final featherweight appearance, he has made the decision to make a full-time leap to 155 pounds, prominently entering the Shark Tank of lightweight, where names like Makhachev, Gaethje, Oliveira, and Poirier reside. And tonight, Holloway aims not just to win, not just to defend his BMF belt, but to rewrite the story that has haunted him for over a decade, a story in which Dustin Poirier has always had the upper hand, a rival who beat him with experience, timing, and heart. But the Holloway walking into UFC 318 is no longer that young kid. He is a grown warrior, sharpened by wars, rebuilt by losses, and fired up by revenge. And this bout is not just another main event. It's a war of legacies, a collision of respect and rivalry, a third and final act in one of MMA's most emotional trilogies. Because for Dustin Poirier, this fight marks the closing of a chapter that has seen him rise from underdog to interim champion, from wild brawler to strategic veteran, from Lafayette's kid to a global icon. And though he never wore the undisputed crown, his resume speaks for itself. Wins over Max Holloway twice, Conor McGregor twice, Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, Anthony Pettis, Jim Miller, Bobby Green, names that echo through the history of violence. And while the gold eluded him, the glory never did, because Dustin Poirier earned respect not just through wins, but how he fought. Heart on his sleeve, fire in his fists, and grit in every round. And tonight, he steps in for the last time in front of a home crowd, ready to walk away not with a title, but with his pride intact, with his legacy sealed, with one final ride into the fire against a man whose pace is relentless, whose chin is granite, and whose will is as dangerous as any punch thrown, because Max Holloway, after years of being counted out, comes back with vengeance in his eyes and violence in his hands. And when these two collide, it won't just be about belts, it will be about everything they've sacrificed, every cut, every bruise, every training camp, every setback, every doubt, every scream in silence, and every fan who ever believed in them. This is not just a fight, it's a reckoning, a chapter closed with fists and fury. And as the crowd roars in New Orleans, as every eye watches this final storm between warriors, you can feel that something bigger is at stake. Respect, redemption, farewell, and perhaps a final passing of the torch. Because while the BMF title may be around Holloway's waist now, Poirier wears something heavier, the weight of a career's worth of battles, the scars of
unforgettable wars, the wisdom of a veteran, and the calm of a man ready to walk away on his own terms. And so, as the cage door shuts and the lights dim, you're not just watching a fight, you're watching two men lay down their soul one last time in the most unforgiving arena in sports. And when the dust settles, no matter whose hand is raised, the legacy of both fighters will be etched deeper into the bones of MMA forever, because this is the essence of the fight game. This is what makes fans cry, cheer, scream, and remember. This is Holloway vs. Poirier 3, this is UFC 318, and this is what legends are made of.